In this video, I share with you what is cryptocurrency and why you should be in this $270+ billion market. Hi, it's NIC PIPS of NIC PIPS, where I teach you how to give your dollars a job. If you're new here, be sure to click the subscribe button, and the links to anything that I mentioned will be in the description below. Cryptocurrency is becoming a frequently heard phrase nowadays, with a lot of our day-to-day actions being made in the digital space. Today I share a call I had with my team about how crypto is becoming a part of our money system and how this could be the biggest investment opportunity of our lifetime. Let's hop right in. All right, guys. So the evolution of money. So let's just go ahead and start off and talk about money and just the evolution of money. So today we're at the point to where we perform a lot of our transactions online. All right. So we don't really use cash a lot. There may be some on this call that still use cash heavily, but majority of the world processes payments through some form of electronic transaction, right? With a credit card, debit card, or now we have Bitcoin as an option, as you guys are going to see. Some websites actually allow you to use cryptocurrency to make purchases. And so just going way back in the day, you know, we should do barter. We would trade one item of value that we have for another person's item that they want to swap for, right? And then we went over to gold, right? Actual gold bars and coins, right? But those are real heavy, inefficient. If you had somebody across town or in another state or another country, it was very hard to pay that person with those gold coins or those gold cars, right? Then we went over to the paper note. So banks decided, hey, I'll go ahead and hold on to your gold for you, and I'll give you these little IOUs called notes, or dollars as we call them now, right? And so a lot of people will store their gold into those bank vaults and then carry around those little IOU notes and give those to people as far as a exchange of value, right? And so a few years back, we decided that we're no longer going to back those paper IOUs by gold, and we detached from the dollar. And if you think about that, that was very significant in our economy, because the value of the dollar began to drop from that point forward, right? Because there was nothing backing it. And if you look at today's times and how our government and governments of other countries are printing and doing stimulating and quantitative easing, whatever term you want to use, it's all the same. It's a destroyer of value. So that dollar that you hold in your pocket, or that IOU note, as I call it, a certificate of debt is another nickname that I have for it. It loses value. So through no action of your own, your dollar is slowly but surely being devalued, and technically they're robbing you right out your back pocket. All right. So cash, you know, when it comes to large amounts, cash is very hard to transfer. So now we have cards, aka credit cards, debit cards, prepaid cards, whatever you want to call them, right? And then now we most recently went over to electronic payments. So now we have Cash App, Vimeo, PayPal, and all those different options, right? And so that's just kind of like the evolution of money. But now there's a new sheriff in town that's called the Bitcoin. All right. Well, not necessarily Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency as a whole. And so why Bitcoin? All right. So Bitcoin is considered digital money. All right. It allows for low-cost peer-to-peer transactions anywhere in the world. Yesterday, I purchased an item from Ledger Nano and used crypto to pay for it. And the transaction literally happened in seconds, right? But it was a cross-country transaction. All right. It was very low cost because, you know, sometimes when you do international transactions, depending on your payment processor, you may have fees, significant fees that are you know, charged to you for those transactions, right? But with Bitcoin is for everyone, regardless of your age, gender, socioeconomic background. There are some countries, alrighty, that have really adopted the Bitcoin mentality because they already have been pillaged as far as their country, stealing the value of their dollar, which is really in the sense of value of your work, right from up under them, right? Because again, if your government is printing dollars and devaluing the dollar, then that means that you're working harder for less. You know, we call it inflation, right? And so just be mindful of that. But that's why Bitcoin is something that you also want to consider. Now, there are other alternatives outside of Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is really the one that got this whole cryptocurrency thing started. But there's been what they call altcoins and stable coins, and we're not going to go into all the details of those today. Again, I just want to give you a basic overview of cryptocurrencies and how their use case. All right, so as you look on the screen, you see the properties of money, right? So these are things that are very important when you consider money of any sort. And money is just whatever you exchange for value when it comes to purchasing goods and services, right? So when it comes to barter, you see how inefficient that was, right? You see all the red dots; those are poor qualities, or that particular quality was poor when it came to that particular property of money. Whereas green would be excellent and yellow is kind of like in the middle, right? So when we look at barter, it was very, very inefficient, right? It wasn't that acceptable because it was very dependent on, hey, if I had 5 chickens and you wanted cows, I couldn't barter with you, right? So that made it very hard. Transferability was very hard too. Again, how do I get my 12 chickens from Texas over to Miami, right? You know, so when it comes to that, and then also with scarcity, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, there's a predictable supply when it comes to those bartered items. All right, then we went over to the gold and silver area, right? And so the issues with that would be that the transferability, right? Again, heavy coins and metals, very hard to transfer. They were acceptable for the most part, and also scarce, which is also a good thing. Scarcity is a good thing, right? Because that gives your currency or your money value, right? That's why we have an issue right now, because they're just printing dollars like there's no tomorrow, right? $2-3 trillion stimulus packages, and there's more to come from what they're saying. So that just, whenever you hear stimulus package or bailout, just think about your dollar possibly losing value, and you know, that inflation hitting. And as you guys can see with some of the different vendors that have opened back up since this pandemic that we're dealing with began, that open back up, they're charging you a fee now, a pandemic fee. So that, to me, that's a form of inflation, okay? And so again, that's all results of that particular times and the currency, right? So when it comes to fiat currency, that would be dollars, euro, whatever paper money that you transfer, right? That's fiat currency. And again, if you look at the red dots, that one has a lot of red dots as well when it comes to scarcity, because it's not scarce. Because again, they could just print it. Well, nowadays, I don't think they really print it. They just go into a computer system and type in some digits, or send you paper checks that you deposit into the bank, and their bank puts digits into your bank account. Then you go and spend those digits with your credit card, right? So you're already participating in digital currency, right? Or electronic transactions, right? So this is just going to be the next evolution of it, right? Then when you talk about Bitcoin, look at all the green dots you have, which are excellent qualities of Bitcoin. It's highly divisible, because in case you didn't know it, Bitcoin right now, I just saw it hit $10,000 per Bitcoin. I think it dropped back down to about 9,800. I haven't looked at it in the last day or two, but that would be $9,000, give or take, to $10,000 for one Bitcoin right now if you want to buy a Bitcoin. But if you did not know it, you do not have to purchase a whole entire Bitcoin. You can purchase a fraction of it called Satoshis, right? And that means that if you only had $20 to buy $20 worth of quote unquote Bitcoin, you could buy $20 in Satoshis, which is a very small fraction of a Bitcoin. But if the Bitcoin price goes up in value, that means your Satoshi goes up in value as well. So, you know, if you put $100 into purchasing Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes up 10%, then you now have $110 worth of Satoshis, which is a small fraction of Bitcoin, and you just earn 10% on your money. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But scarcity, again, acceptable. That's the biggest roadblock right now when it comes to cryptocurrency. And I'm going to talk about how acceptability is actually improving, because if you guys didn't know it, there are a lot of vendors and companies that you may not have even thought of that actually allow Bitcoin. And there are some governments and companies that are paying or giving benefits in the form of a cryptocurrency, maybe not necessarily Bitcoin, but a cryptocurrency, right? Decentralization, that's the biggest thing that Bitcoin has, all right? Because again, it's not something that you can just go and print more Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a set amount of coins that are going to be created, and once those coins are created, that value is locked in. And what's going to happen is they're going to become more valuable, right? Because as we guys know, supply and demand, right? The more something that there is, the cheaper the price or the value of it, right? So for instance, here during this pandemic, I don't know if you guys noticed the price of hand sanitizer. It went up pretty high, right? Because the demand was super high and the supply was not as high. So it went through the roof, right? So that's an example of supply and demand, right? And then smart, aka programmable. Man, Bitcoin is awesome. I can literally send you an email right now and transfer $25,000 to you in the form of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and you'll have it inside of your crypto wallet or your crypto account in literally in minutes. Don't have to worry about your bank calling to confirm the transaction. Don't have to worry about any limits. That's one of the biggest headaches that I have right now, that we have limits. If you go to the bank today and you have a $25,000 account and you go to withdraw $15,000 worth of cash to go buy your cash car, they don't even have the cash there in-house. They'll literally tell you, well, you need to call and schedule a pickup of that money because we don't have that money. We don't have that much cash, right? And you would think, oh, it's a bank. You got $25,000 showing on your account balance and that you can withdraw that money, but it's not that easy. But when it comes to Bitcoin, it's an easy process as far as sending and transferring or paying debts or services when it comes to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is like cyber gold, y'all. All right, that can be sent globally with the click of a button. Again, like I'm gonna show you guys in a few minutes. It's very easy to send Bitcoin when you understand the process. It's open 24/7. You don't have to worry about your bank being closed for a holiday or anything like that. You have access to your crypto at any point in time. And crypto is an open source currency, which means that it's gonna always be improving. All right, and it's a secure transaction because of the blockchain. I'm not gonna get into the details of blockchain, but blockchain is how transactions are maintained, and the balances, checks and balances of the transactions are recorded online on the blockchain. But Bitcoin has no borders. That's the biggest thing, y'all. It allows us to do international transactions. All right, so these are some of the most profitable investments in the last decade, y'all. And so when I talk about cryptocurrencies, again, there are a lot of options out there, right? And any of those particular cryptocurrencies could be the next Bitcoin, right? So if you look on the screen, some of the household names that you hear on TV, on CNN and NBC or whatever station that you watch, right? Or like Domino's Pizza, Netflix, right? Amazon, that's another one that everybody knows. I think pretty much everybody on the planet knows Amazon, right? NVIDIA is a graphics card company, right? MasterCard, we know who they are. They're the payment processor of choice right now. Well, MasterCard and Visa are the top payment processors. They're probably a little skittish about Bitcoin, right? Because again, it kind of takes away the need for them eventually. All right, and you got Apple. Apple's another household name that everybody knows, and of course Google. Google's the big one. But if you look at it, in the last decade, so the last 10 years, the most profitable investment of that list is by far Bitcoin. 62,500%. So that means if you would have put money in Bitcoin 10 years ago, and you still had at this point in time, just like you do with your 401k or that savings account that you have at the bank, right? That's paying you 0.000000001% interest every year annually, right? I'm gonna talk about that here later on too, as far as savings go. All right, and so Bitcoin by far has outperformed everything on this list. Next up is gonna be Ethereum. That's another type of cryptocurrency, 17,900%. So had you invested in that 10 years ago, your money would be in a phenomenal place. All right, and it wouldn't have cost a whole lot of investment because just 10 years ago, Bitcoin was nowhere near $10,000 per Bitcoin. It may have been like $15 to $20 a Bitcoin, which is nothing. We spend more than that on a dinner these days, right? When you talk about Netflix, and Netflix is up there at 4,000%. I was surprised to see that, to be honest, that it was that high. All righty, Domino's Pizza. I was surprised to see that one at the top of the list. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that next one is. Ambio Mid, I don't even know what that is. That might be another one of those cryptocurrencies that are up and coming. Luminen, Amazon, MasterCard, Apple, Google, and all that good stuff, right? So as you can see, the most profitable investment of the decade is Bitcoin. And guess what? It's not even done yet, y'all. It's just getting started. So in the last couple of years, these are the most recent top 5 updates when it comes to cryptocurrency, right? So look at the very top. Almost 80% of total Bitcoin supply is in profit. So that means that 8 out of 10 people who invested in Bitcoin in its entire lifetime is in profit, right? Even after the whole situation where Bitcoin price got up to $20,000 or $19,000 a Bitcoin, and then it came back down to like 3,800, then it went back up to $8,900, and then it shot up to 10,000 here recently, and then kind of settled back down around 9,600 or $9,600 per Bitcoin, right? So even with all of that, 80% of the total Bitcoin supply in the world is in profit. All right, billionaire is expecting a big Bitcoin move. So these are people with big money, right? And they have been investing and clearly doing something correctly when it comes to their money, right? Because they're billionaires, right? So they've been able to take their money and get their money to work for them, right? Because that's how you become, quote unquote, wealthy and mega rich, right? That you got to find a way to stop trading time for money and start putting your money to work. All right. And so this billionaire is saying that he's expecting a big move from Bitcoin, and there's more people have said that, but this particular guy is just the one on this slide, right? Nike brings crypto rewards on online purchases. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you make purchases on Nike, you get rewarded with crypto, right? And that's a big thing. Nike is a big company. Have y'all seen the lines when the new pair of Jordans come out for Nike and how people act when those shoes come out? Nike is a big deal, and they're participating in crypto. All right. Indian IT giant will offer blockchain courses. So that means that they are actually implementing the information as far as how blockchains work and how they're created, and designing courses, because again, this is going to be around for a while, guys. It's not going anywhere. It's already been around for a good amount of time, but it's in its infancy when it comes to the technology. And then Russia leads in the global Bitcoin trading, right? So Russia is really going hard when it comes to crypto, you know? So next up, this is a quote that I like. I love it, right? He says that Bitcoin every day. Now imagine, remember I told you 10 years ago, had you put in Bitcoin, some money into Bitcoin, 62,500%. Just look at that number, y'all. And again, look at all the things that probably your friends, your family, your close loved ones, they tell you to put money in, like Nike, Visa, Google stock, Amazon stock, blah, 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 right? But look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum, right? Look at those numbers compared to those other items, right? And so, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that right there, y'all. So, but this guy says, Max Kaiser says that he suggests that people with low income should also buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. Remember, you don't have to purchase the entire Bitcoin. I know it's $10,000 per Bitcoin, but you can purchase small amounts called Satoshis, right? He says that you need to, if you buy $1 worth of Bitcoin every day, he claimed those who did it 9 years ago, like we just saw in the slide, right? We said a decade investment, right? Are now millionaires. And so a lot of the experts are saying that Bitcoin could go up to as high as $100,000 per Bitcoin, right? So imagine right now, you put in $100 and it goes up that high percentage of amount, right? And let's say you do $1 a day like this guy says, that's what, $30 a month. Again, you spend more than that on Starbucks. Spend more than that on Whataburger. All right, we spend more than that on Netflix. Well, probably not, because I think Netflix is like $12, $13. But you get my point, right? But if you just put that little bit of amount into it in 10 years, what do you think Bitcoin is going to be, right? Again, if it's, and when I say Bitcoin, I'm talking about, you know, what do you think it's going to be at in 10 years, right? Look at where it's come from and where it's heading. And I'm going to talk about that as well. Wow, YouTube, that was some phenomenal information that I just shared, man. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button for me. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe. So this is a 2-part series, so go ahead and click on the part 2 of this video. I'm going to have a link in the description of this video, or it should be on the card at the end of the video. Peace.